This is so real. You are used to using ChatGPT or Claude, and then one day you're reading something about how great this other LLM is, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go try it out. And then you go in there and you try it out, and you're like, this thing is dumb. Why is that? Well, you have spent all of your time in one system giving it the context and the personalization and the history, information about what tone you're looking for, how you prefer output, all of that stuff. And this new LLM that's supposed to be really smart is like a new employee that's coming in saying, hi. And that's about it. Great skills, but no context. And so you, my friend, have to do the work of adding the context. So we're going to talk about a couple things that you can do right now with your brand new, super smart LLM employee and how to make it less dumb. Number one, you want to front load your context. Every LLM will have a section in the settings where you can add personalization. There, you want to include the persistent information where you have your instructions for tone output, style output. I always put in there, stuff around like not actually outputting anything that looks or feels like an LLM. I want it to look and feel like my thinking, not its thinking. And so I provide that level of instruction. As well as, whether or not you prefer bullets or paragraph long form, if you like a certain style of output, like if you prefer something supportive or you want to be hyped up, or if you want to remain scientific, you always want citations, all of that kind of persistent stuff you want to put in your personalization settings. So it's always going to be there. Now, there will be times, especially when a new model is introduced by any company, where you have to remind it again for a few times that these persistent personalization instructions are there. And also, if you're using something like a Claude or a ChatGPT and projects within that, you may have to put additional persistent instructions within those discrete projects for it to reference on all of its outputs or anything that it's working on inside that project container. The second thing that I always do, no matter what, is you correct your LLM in real time and then you instruct it to remember it. It might not always do that, but at least for the period of your conversation, it can be really helpful. Correcting something in real time, so like in ChatGPT, for instance, you can highlight something and then you can ask ChatGPT, it'll reference that in the chat box for comments. Do that because then there is sort of a backlink reference to what it output, what didn't work, and what the correction is. And that is going to help it learn. And the context of learning is really, really important. And the faster it learns and the more you give it around learning up front, the faster it's going to be tuning itself to output what you need without you having to give it those additional instructions. The third thing that I love to do with a new LLM, anytime a new model is output and you're starting it for the first time, everybody says this. You'll see it all over the news. Anytime a new model comes out, you're like, oh, this is great, but it's not as good as the last one was. And it's because you need to do some additional fine tuning on that new model. And so take 20 minutes to do that calibration work and give it the prompts, check for the outputs, do those real-time corrections, and it'll go a long way in doing a quick recalibration with the new model on that existing LLM structure, so you can then move forward without having to do all of those corrections over and over again. OpenAI got a lot of criticism for its most recent model sounding more dumb than it did before. And, doing that 20 or 30 minutes of calibration up front to reset it and sort of reassign some personalization can be really, really helpful. If you found this video useful, please give it a like or a comment or share it with someone who can use the tip. It really helps with getting the word out. I'm really passionate about making AI more accessible and exciting and frankly more useful for people out there in work and life. And so let's do that together.